Hey everyone, welcome to the session on Should You Take That Promotion and What Happens Next? Our speaker today is Catherine Sprankle, who's the Manager of Scientific and Technical Communication, ILS. In this speed talk, Cathy will share her insights as a first-time manager and what factored or should have factored into her decision to take the promotion. Over to you, Cathy.
Thank you, Saeed, and thank you for that lovely introduction. As Saeed said, I am Manager of Technical Communications at Integrated Laboratory Systems, LLC, which is if you did not attend my previous session, I will tell you it is a research triangle-based small business focusing on that provides research and testing services in the area of toxicology to commercial and government clients. So I am not a expert on technical communications management. This is meant to be a very personal reflection on my experiences over the last year and a half as a first-time manager, and I'm hoping that when those of you who become technical communicators be offered a promotional decision, it might help you sort through the whether you should take that promotion. So let's see. Why is my okay, here we go. So got my bachelor's degree in biology from the University of Virginia, and for about 20 some odd years I bounced around various employers in the Research Triangle Park as a laboratory scientist until I was offered what turned out to be my dream job, which was doing scientific and technical communications for a group within ILS that focuses on non-animal alternatives to chemical safety testing. And in 2000, year and a half ago, whenever that was, I am on the 13th anniversary of my hire date. My manager walked into my office and said, "We're starting up a technical writing group. Would you like to be the supervisor of it?" And I said, "Sure, that sounds like fun." Here's what I probably should have asked my boss before saying yes. What do you or management envision my role and responsibilities to me? What are your goals for my position or for the group I will be supervising? What are the responsibilities of the people I will be supervising, and why were their positions created? I found out in the time that followed my acceptance position that those questions had not been very clearly answered in some cases, and I have spent a lot of the last year and a half trying to working with management and colleagues and my reports, trying to figure out exactly what the remit of this newly created group was. So, and that is something that has made the job quite a bit harder. So if I had known that before I took the job, I would have had a clearer idea of what I was getting into. What resources are available to assist me in my transition to supervisor? I had to pretty much find those resources myself. And I will get into that a little bit, what they were later. How will my current role change? As it turned out, my supervisory responsibilities were an add-on to the responsibilities I currently have. I was not transitioning into an entirely new position, and so I was ended up adding 6 to 8 hours a week of management and supervisory positions, responsibilities, and onto a job that I already had. And that was complicated by the fact that the people I supervise work in a completely different part of the business than I work in, which I knew absolutely nothing about. So that also contributed to a pretty steep learning curve and a substantially increased workload. And what will my title be? Will I get a raise, and how much? I was smart enough to, 5 minutes after I said yes, go back in my boss's office and ask those questions. And as it turned out, I did get a title change and a raise. This is what I should have asked myself before saying yes. Do I feel comfortable about being in a position of authority over these people? As it turned out, I was. I have a great deal of experience in my role and with my company, and I was the people I was supervising were relatively junior, and so I felt confident being a mentor and an authority figure over them. How do I feel about prioritizing activities, developing procedures, evaluating performance, interacting and negotiating with colleagues at all levels in the business, and being responsible for the work of others that I may be doing work that I am not able to do, which is all of those things I've had to do over the past year and a half. Specifically, going back to so interacting and negotiating with all colleagues at all levels of the business. Again, I was fortunate enough to have a long time in with my company, and I know that it's not a very big company, and so I have the relationships that I have with the CEO, the chief operating officer of the company, the chief scientific officer of the company, have really helped me out in this role over the past year and a half. And being responsible for the work of others, maybe doing work that I'm not able to do. So, as I mentioned, the two writers I supervise work in a different part of the business than I do. They use tools that I don't know how to learn and don't want to know how to learn. So I have to not only do I have to help them get the help they need to get their jobs done, but if somebody comes to me and tells me that they're not getting their jobs done, doing the work myself is not an option. I've got to find another way to get that work done. Am I comfortable taking on an increased workload? I alluded to that in my last slide. And I guess the most important question to ask when you are offered a promotion is, what's in it in this to me? And it really needs to be something more than the pay raise. In my case, this promotion offered me several things. In my previous life as a lab scientist, I had many opportunities to mentor junior scientists, even though I had never been a supervisor. I really liked that. I really missed it, and I hadn't had an opportunity to do so in my current job. So this gave me an opportunity to be a mentor again. It gave me the opportunity to learn more about a different part of the business and work with new people. And it, to be honest, I'm nearing the end of my career, and this was probably the last opportunity I would ever have to be offered a supervisory role. So I figured it was now or never, and I really needed, if I wanted to check that box in my professional life, I needed to do it now. So if you, once you do accept the promotion, here's what happens next. Identify who you will be interacting with in your new role and what they will be expecting of you. And this includes your new reports, internal clients, and management. And don't be surprised if their expectations might conflict a bit and might need some work, might require you to find middle grounds between conflicting expectations and demands. Learn about your new group's ongoing projects and current procedures. I was very fortunate in that the person who used to have supervisory responsibility for these people is a friend of mine who works right down the hall, and I was able to talk to her about what was going on with them and you know, what she saw as the ongoing challenges and the ongoing needs of this group. Find a mentor to help you learn management skills. My boss is I have a wonderful relationship with my boss, and he's a very experienced manager. So he has been very helpful in coaching me on how to become in my development as a manager. Get to know your HR people and learn your company's policy and procedures. In the year and a half that I've been a manager, I have had to hire a couple of people, fire somebody, and deal with a medical leave situation. So I had to learn all the policies involved with all of those activities and get some advice from my our chief operating officer, who also acts as our HR director. And identify training resources. We have some internal training resources that I was able to take advantage of, and then the Society for Technical Communication also has an excellent series on for the first time technical communication manager that was fortunately being offered shortly after I took this role. And I think Saul Carliner is the name of the gentleman who teaches it, and it's a terrific resource. And so if you find yourself in that position, I would definitely recommend that course. And finally, in your so the first year of being a new manager is going to be challenging, and one of the biggest challenges is that you are being evaluated now by your team's success, not only your own. And so you have to get comfortable with the lack of control that lack of total control that implies. But you are offered this job because management thinks you are the best person for the job, and everybody wants you to succeed. So I had to tell myself that over and over again as I fought the bad case of imposter syndrome that I was dealing with during my first year as a manager. Do more listening than talking. You have a lot to learn, and you can only learn when you're listening. Don't try to do everything. Delegate. In fact, one of the best things that you can do as a manager, I think, is identify development opportunities for your people and allow them to take as much responsibility as they can and think as is appropriate for their level. And let them do what they do. Let your people do their work, and then focusing on providing them with what they need to get their jobs done. And be patient with yourself and others, because you will learn what you will need to learn in time, and things will get easier as you go along. So I hope some of these insights may be helpful to you if you ever encounter the situation I encountered. And I thank you for your time. I'll be glad to answer any questions, and my LinkedIn contact information is down there. I'd be delighted if any of you chose to connect with me on LinkedIn. Thanks very much.